Hi, welcome to Buckle Up Wildcats, the High School Musical the Series Rewatch podcast. My name is Audrey Ashcraft, and I'm your co-host.
I'm Haley Clark, and I'm also your co-host.
So slay. Okay, today, let's just jump right in. Yeah, today we're covering Season 1, Episode 8, the tech rehearsal, and I have the synopsis, so I will start us off with that. Okay. After the fire destroys the auditorium, the cast is forced to go to the old abandoned El Rey Theater to put on their show. EJ learns about his casting, Carlos feels the pressure to keep the show going, Courtney shines, Gina's missing, Ricky and Nene rekindle previous feelings, and Miss Jen forgives herself for past failures with a Lucas Gabriel-filled hallucination. The cast feels called back to East High, and Courtney makes an important call for Nene. Yay.
That was so much that happened in that episode.
There was. I was, thinking about, each of the... Because it was, every character had, a thing.
Yeah. They had to push the plot forward.
They really did. Anyways, Kay.
Hey.
What'd you rank it?
I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
That's so real. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it was being a little more generous, but... Low-key, this episode does not move... it moves things forward, but also in a much larger sense, no, it doesn't.
I feel like there's so many random things that happen. And I feel like they were we need one more episode, before the show, but we can't make too much happen, but also we gotta, give everyone something.
No, literally. And I feel like them even having a tech rehearsal in a place that they don't do the performance completely negates the point of the tech
I have
rehearsal.
so many notes about because,
And she's just so mad at Big Red.
Yeah.
I'm he doesn't know what's going on.
That's scary. They're trying to, work all...
And it's all for nothing, too.
Yeah, they don't.
Because they don't even use that stage.
Yeah, it's... I don't know.
So, I get why it happens, but also I was the whole time I was why are we here?
This seems just... I guess the only, I don't know. The really only productive thing I feel that happens is Miss Jen's, whole thing, but...
Yeah. I guess Ricky and Nene have a moment, but, And then Gina's not even in this episode.
No.
And it's it's discussed, but, not, a lot. It's just oh.
Yeah.
But this is a fun episode.
Yeah.
Just not great. And then the only song in this episode is Rule of a Lifetime. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where you ranked it or where you're feeling. I don't love this song. I put it at the bottom of my ranking.
Yeah, I would too.
It's probably, technically a better song than Billion Sorries, but I would rather listen to a Billion Sorries, so...
I think I would too. It's just... Yeah.
I like Miss Jen in the sense that I like she's a good character. Mm-hmm. I do not like when they make things super centric around her. I'm mm-mm.
No. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's just... I don't know. It's not exciting.
No,
I don't care about it. So...
I love that they're Ryan is such a main character. Anyways, we didn't cast a Ryan.
Yeah. He is Ryan. So we don't need one.
So why do we need one? We have one in our show.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so funny.
Okay, so favorites and least favorites. I got my thing.
My favorite from this episode was just Ricky and Nene, having their little moment together. It was cute.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They actually really like each other. Cute. And my least favorite was just that they kind of just don't really try that hard to solve any issues.
No, it's so real.
They're oh no, the lights don't work. The lights were working. They just don't know how to work it, which isn't anyone's fault. But for a tech rehearsal, you kind of have to just figure. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I actually fear that is the point of the tech rehearsal.
Yeah,
to solve those problems.
So I don't know. I don't. That's okay.
That's real.
They figure stuff out, but
they get things.
I feel they're just oh no.
Dang.
Can't do anything now.
You're oh well.
I don't know.
So, my favorite moment I really liked Carlos in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, low key, is he my... I know I complain about Carlos a lot. But I was like, wait, is he my favorite season 1 character? I think maybe. He's so funny.
He is.
And he's the glue of this show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Without
my gosh.
Carlos, I don't know. I don't know what that was.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but something just crashed. So I put that.
Is great.
Like, Carlos's, and it was a funny episode. And then, but my least favorite is just like Miss Jen's like arc. Like, I get that she was having a moment and it was very Miss Jen soaked, but like all of this is your fault. And you're right. Yeah. She's not trying to make like every minor inconvenience. She's like, "Okay, we're done."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. I like her. She's just not my favorite character to follow, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Utah moments?
I didn't really have any specifically. I don't think.
I did. I wanted to know where they filmed this freaking theater.
That was my only thing. I don't know where.
So they started listing off theaters in it, and I said, okay, I'm going to write these down. I wrote down 2 of them. They listed 3. I did not get one of them.
Yeah.
The Old Kingston, and the one they went to was the El Rey.
Mm-hmm.
And so, naturally, my search started by looking those up. Neither of those are theaters in Salt Lake or Utah at all. There is, I couldn't find any Old Kingston theaters, unless there's some, like, Kingston, but they're, like, in Jamaica, so that's, like, not.
Oh, yeah.
I think they just picked those names because they sound fancy.
Yeah.
There is an El Rey theater in L.A.,
Oh, interesting.
and there's also in Chicago. It might be like I don't know. That might be like a thing.
Yeah.
Not like a chain, but like maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a chain of theaters.
Maybe.
But that's like one in LA, but there is not one in Utah called that.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, well, I can just look at theaters and figure out which one looks the most like it. There's not one that looks like the most like it.
Interesting.
At least that I was able to find.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any, like, articles about them, like, filming anywhere. Guys, when I tell you, I went onto this page that listed, like, a bunch of locations. It was, like, Utah, like, it was, like, the state of Utah's, like, filming and, like, travel place, like, page put it together. And it has a bunch of High School Musical places, and it also has a bunch of places from High School Musical, the series. Yeah. Specifically season 1. I don't think they did anything past season 2. But it had, like, the bowling alley.
Okay, yeah.
And the coffee shop. I was like, what other place would be? And it had both of those locations, so I was like, okay, the theater would be one of those locations. So my theory is it's a soundstage. And I have more evidence to back that up. Because then I was like, what if I reverse Google search this bad boy?
Yeah.
And the establishing shot, you know? I was like, okay, I feel like that's a real one in Utah. That is the Wasatch Springs Plunge, or whatever. It's an abandoned building.
Oh.
It used to be a pool.
Interesting.
And then they shut it down, and then it became a children's museum, and then they shut it down.
Dang.
But it's been an abandoned building since 2006.
Huh.
The year High School Musicals came out.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's what the exterior shot is. So then that told me even more that that's not a real theater.
Yeah.
That's a soundstage.
Yeah. Because if it was a theater, I feel like they just use shots from the theater.
Exactly. So I think it's a soundstage.
That would make sense.
But my only thing is I'm like, I just don't understand the practicality behind that. Because it's huge. Like, they built if they built a soundstage, it's a whole auditorium.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I feel like it has enough distinct features that I should have been able to, like, first off, if it was one in Utah, I should have been able to notice, from its features. And second off, reverse Google searching should have given me the interior of it, too. Yeah. And I just couldn't find one.
Huh. And it's, like, a whole episode that they're there, so I feel like if it was a place, like, it would be somewhere. Yeah. We would know about.
It would be,
Interesting.
So... yeah. I also watched a documentary. It's, like, not a documentary. It was, like, a 2-minute video on the Utah, like, page about how they filmed in Utah and, like, stuff like that. So I know that sometimes they use sound stages. So I think it was a sound stage. I think they built it.
That would make sense. I feel like the only, like, that would make sense because I kept, like, seeing things that I was like, did they, like, put in all the work for this?
Mm-hmm.
Or did they, like, is this just how this building was? Because, like, there's, like, the part where they're in, like, kind of where the concession stuff is, and EJ's, like, eating the popcorn from the thing, which, first of all, I was like, how old is that?
No, literally.
Gross. But then, like, there's, like, cobwebs and stuff. So I was like, that would be a lot of work to be, like, if the concession stuff was already there, which there was, like, drinks and candy and stuff, which I could see it just being there already. But then the cobwebs would be, like, they're trying to make it seem like it's abandoned and old. But, like, that's just a lot of work to put into it. But if it's a soundstage and, like, they built it all, then they can put whatever narrative they want to on it. Exactly. So that would make sense.
That's fair. That's my theory. I guess it could be a building and I just missed it. I don't think that's the case.
If you guys recognize it and you're like, I know where that is,
let us know.
Tell us, because you might be the only one who does.
Yeah, that would be really cool, because I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And everything else I was able to.
Right
back. And especially since that Utah locations thing had all those places that we found. Yeah. That tells me that this is a soundstage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It reminds me of the Egyptian Theater in Park City.
Yeah.
But it's not. I would have known if it's not.
The closest thing I could think, not like the actual stage, but like the hallway and like entrance area reminded me of like the Sarah Theater, like the indoor one. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they have a stage that is that big at all. Yeah. So I don't know.
What was really getting me is the way the seats were, because they have like this big flat area and then all the seats like up on the sides, and I could not find one that was like that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
that would be weird for a theater anyway.
Yeah. And my thought is then, because I was thinking, I was like, well, that would make sense if they built it that way, because then they would leave that open for the possibility of choreography.
Right. Yeah. And they, like, built it, because the last thing they had in there was a fashion show. So I was like, oh, that makes sense why there's, like, a runway type thing. But, like, they would have, if they built it that way, that makes sense.
That does make sense. So that's I think they built it. I think it's a soundstage because, but yeah, the establishing shot, so we can go there.
Yeah.
We can go and go, wow.
Cool.
Look at this. Also, another thing that tells me it's a soundstage, there was no, like, decipherable feature that was like, this is this. Because I kept looking for, because everything else I've been able to find, like, logos.
Yeah.
Or, like, and I couldn't find one for that.
No, there was one shot where I saw something in the background, but I don't know. I don't remember what it is, and I couldn't see it clear enough to, like, tell.
Because, like, all the doors are all so big. They're just, like, dressing room. And they're all, like, in that theater's, like, 1920s.
Yeah, okay,
But the established, the first, like, 1920s is kind of, like, a weird time. Not that... a lot of Utah stuff is newer. Just because we were a later established state. But I was like, that's kind of an interesting design. But the building that shut down was from the 1920s. So. Oh. I mean, maybe it did have... Obviously, maybe they built it inside there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's a possibility.
That's just a theory. There's no evidence for that claim. But maybe they did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it was a whole thing. Or maybe they just built it on a soundstage. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they were able to find that building. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's been closed my entire life, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll have to find it at some point.
We'll find it. We'll investigate.
Anyways, that was all my Utah comments I had.
Yeah.
I was just perplexed by this theater.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's just
awesome
go into the episode then. Okay. Carlos does our recap, which it started and I was like, I swear he's done a recap already. But he is not.
Interesting.
Doesn't it feel like he did one?
Yeah.
No, he did it. So I went back and looked through all the episodes and he is not.
Interesting.
Do we have 10 main characters? Or 9? Because I'm like, do they have it set up so every character does a recap?
That would make sense. Except, this is a spoiler, but the next episode doesn't have a recap.
Yeah, it does.
Who?
Episode 9? Courtney.
Oh.
I was like, wait, hold on. And then I thought you were talking
I
about...
feel like it just... Maybe I missed it, I guess.
That's possible. Because it starts with the flash,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Does she do a recap after that?
I think she does the recap before that.
Okay.
Anyway.
So
I wonder if there's one for the finale. I don't know what character hasn't done one.
I feel like there is one. I almost want to say it's Natalie, but...
That feels right. Also, speaking about her,
I don't remember.
She's been gone for a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I just was...
That was interesting.
I was like, where is she?
She's just not here. She's getting her wisdom teeth out. So I feel like it's something you plan, and she's like the stage manager. So like, doing it during a tech rehearsal.
Like, I fear she could have prevented that.
Yeah.
That's so real.
I don't know, unless it was like an emergency thing, but...
Yeah, maybe. I'm like, wow, it's been a minute since we've seen her, and I feel like they're always like, oh, this is the reason she's not here. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, I miss her.
Yeah.
I love her.
I feel like there's always... She's the most one that's missing, but, like, anytime someone's gone, they're like, they have to acknowledge it and say why they're gone.
They're like, this is why.
And Miss Jen is like, how dare they? Anyways.
It's the weird thing, because I feel like if they have to be gone for, like, plot... For some reason, she's always just like, that's okay. But then any other character has any inconvenience, she's like, you are the reason this show fails. And I'm like, okay, but we just excuse so-and-so.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't...
Anyways.
I don't know. Yeah, like, Gina's gone.
Gina's just not there.
That's fine.
And they don't even think about recasting her at this
No.
point. But to be fair, does Miss Jen know she's moving at this point?
I don't know.
She should, because she just said Gina can't be here because of a family emergency.
Yeah.
But they low-key act like she's going to be back for the show.
Yeah. I guess... I don't know.
I don't
know
know.
how that all worked. I don't know.
I wrote the grip that collars, like, have on this cast. I didn't even realize that. No, but yours is fine. Why are they always wearing the most, like, patterned collars?
They're all wearing plaid again. I was like... I don't know. They're all, like... Almost granola, but not quite.
Like, someone needs to rip that option away from the costumer.
Yeah, stop with the plaid, stop with the collars, stop with the fleeces, and the vests. Okay.
You have, like, 5 items in your... Like, and then
Yeah.
the weird sweaters.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Let's wear some t-shirts.
No. Oh my gosh,
No.
literally.
Does anyone ever wear just a plain t-shirt?
So true.
I don't think so.
No. I think the only time I think of them wearing t-shirts is, like, in
the show?
In the show, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's why, like, costuming was so hard for them. They're like, we don't dress normal.
We don't wear t-shirts, so what are we gonna do?
That's like, the beginning part where they're all, like, freaking out about they lost all their costumes. I'm like, literally, just wear your own clothes.
So, literally.
That's probably not the biggest issue here right now. And, like, Big Red's thing with the basketball.
No,
and also, that makes no sense.
I literally wrote, why do they need a paper mache basketball? What is the point of that?
And also, that basketball that he was holding was not paper mache.
No! We've never seen a paper mache basketball.
You could just buy another basketball.
Literally, the basketballs are the
I'm
least
sure
of
they
our
have
problem.
them in the gym.
Yeah.
Why can't we just
use the ones in the gym? This is not a problem. So I literally wrote, why do they need a paper mache basketball?
Yeah. We're creating problems for ourselves.
No, that's what these past couple episodes have been. I'm like, wow, we're really creating our own problems.
The drama. It's fine. I also put that this is giving when our gym flooded in high school.
Our gym flooded. That was really cool. That was really fun.
Yeah. We couldn't use the main gym.
Yeah.
And it was right during winter season when, well, I guess it was...
We had just finished state for drill.
Okay.
So I think we had maybe 1 or 2 and then it flooded.
That makes
so it was
sense.
probably February.
Because it was during our, like, winter season. So we needed the gym. All the teams needed, like... Is basketball still going on? I don't know. I don't know sports
I
seasons.
think so.
But I think, like, most of the teams were still inside because it was cold and snowy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really rough to coordinate when we had 2 gyms, which is probably still more than some people have.
That's so, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't like that. It was definitely an issue, though.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't even let us, like, in that side of the school for, like, forever.
Yeah,
it was so
we
annoying.
had to use the, like, main entrance atrium area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in color guard, and they were like, don't drop anything because they'll kill you.
No, because our gym was always getting redone.
Yeah, and we couldn't stand. There's a giant plane in the middle of our school, and we couldn't stand under it because couldn't toss anything. I don't know.
You're throwing things.
Yeah, that was a time. Good time.
Love. I don't even remember all the
So
things
fun.
I did. I feel like they were just like, you would have to come for drill.
Yeah.
But a couple of times we did stuff like on the track.
Mm.
We just do workouts. It was really cool. I can't remember everything.
It was so fun.
I'm like, my next note is, why did Carlos tell EJ what was in the box?
Yeah.
That was not necessary.
He knows him enough. I don't know. That was just like setting it up.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
But
thanks for moving the. I was like, we just moved the plot along there. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I always notice things like that in this show. I'm like, okay. We're just trying to push the plot. That's okay.
I'm like, I'm
It needs
okay.
to happen. But
I'll let that.
yeah.
Also, I feel like, and I never have noticed this until this time, Courtney's so stressed about the costumes, and I was like, and just the whole show as a general, and I was like, is this the start of her anxiety? I didn't realize it went so far back
Yeah.
into this, because I like the way she even
That's
just
so true.
responded to things, just like Nene leaving and just like all of it just piling up. It
yeah.
was just like the way she acted. I was like, wait, is this laying the?
That makes sense.
I was like, dang. Not that I ever thought the anxiety came out of nowhere.
Mm.
But I was just like, oh, this is like more groundwork being laid than I remember.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all my notes from before they go to the theater. So
Mhm.
I don't know if you have any more.
I don't.
I like don't
no,
feel like
I
there
don't
was
think so.
like a lot to talk about in this episode.
No. I wrote a lot of questions
A lot of
that I had. Just judgmental questions, but that's okay.
Okay, so I took a picture of EJ's notes.
Oh,
Do you
yeah?
want to read them?
Yes, I do.
I was gonna write it down, but then I was like, I actually don't care enough. So this is them. Okay, so he filled this out.
Oh, yes.
He wants to be a lead. Rehearsal conflicts, he wrote water polo Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. And they put, I can miss if necessary. Troy takes priority.
Oh.
And then his acting experience, he put leads in Music Man, Fiddler on the Roof, Camelot,
Oh.
and Homeroom Acting Academy. Okay, I don't know what that first word is. This is obviously a picture I took, so I think it's home. I couldn't figure out what that word was, but Acting Academy.
Interesting.
Production of Newsies! Exclamation point.
Dang.
But they didn't put the name of who he played in each of them.
Yeah, just leads.
Just that he was the lead.
Hmm.
And then it put list any dance experience, and he said danced in all above productions listed. And then she put, and then Miss Jen wrote classic Troy on paper. And then it says singing, like, experience, and he says 4 years voice lessons. And then any other talents that would be helpful for this production, he wrote, I was made to play Troy Bolton. He exclamation point. Sorry, there's a lot of exclamation points out here. He is me with a basketball. And then on the side, she wrote lacks emotional connection to the material, which he reads off. And then at the top, next, Army Hammer.
Ooh. Interesting.
So that's what it says.
And he just writes his name as EJ.
Yes, that's a good question. And I didn't even think about that. Yeah, just Easewit. Just EJ Caswell, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And he says he's in grade 12.
Oh, wow.
So, that's
Cool.
interesting. Yeah, he didn't even write We actually, just kidding. Sometimes we spoil things later, and sometimes we don't. But I'm not saying that till we find out.
My parents would be disappointed.
That's so true.
That's what I gotta think about spoilers, because they haven't seen the show.
That's so true.
So
we can't spoil this for Haley's parents. This is one of the greatest plot twists of all times. Okay,
Anyways, keep going.
Okay.
I don't know where we are.
So I just talked about EJ's notes. That's what it says.
Yeah. It's interesting to me, I've done a few tech rehearsals, and I guess they've all kind of been different. But I feel like for a musical, you would want to go in order so you would know, like, where your lights need to be set up for each one, like, in order. So you know how to, like, move it. But I don't know. But they're like, let's go from status quo, which is the end of Act 1. And then they're like, she makes Ricky and Nene go do their own thing. But then they're also reading lines at the same time that they're doing the same scene.
Yeah.
So that didn't make sense to me a whole lot.
Yeah, I did not know what was going on there.
Because it's a tech rehearsal. And you kind of just, like, mark it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's literally a tech rehearsal, and they avoided all tech problems.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It's not even... They could have solved everything. They're just like, this is a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I don't know why literally no one went to help Big Red.
No. And also, I was like, there has to be someone, like, Carlos is it his uncle?
Yeah.
That, like, owns the building or whatever? Like, there has to be someone that knows how things work, kind of.
Exactly.
An adult.
No, literally.
Even, like, Mr. Mazzara. I don't know, someone.
Yeah, or even just, like, why don't we just go and play around with them really quickly before we get started?
Let's go. And I don't know.
That's how I feel in this episode and in the next one, where they're just, like, having all these tech problems. Like, okay, this is not Big Red's fault.
No. He didn't sign up for this at all. He got assigned it, and then they're like, how come you can't do anything?
How come you suck? And he's like, can someone please help him?
Yeah. I felt so bad for him the whole time.
That's so real. Carlos and EJ scene eats. They're so funny.
It is so funny.
This is a later comment I wrote, but watching this episode made me think. I was like, do you think there's any EJ and Carlos shippers out there? Like, do you think they have fan fiction?
Probably somewhere.
Because I was like, I mean, I don't think that they're my top ship, but I was thinking, I was like, I don't think they're not, but I was like, I really see potential here.
Yeah.
And I just really feel like
make an edit of that scene.
No, literally. Or also like the wicked loathing.
Yeah.
I could see that for the two of them.
Should we make an edit?
Should we make an edit? Oh my god, you guys. Because they're the only two. I was thinking, I really like how this whole cast is very much there for each other, and all of them are friends. Mm-hmm. Even characters that wouldn't seem to be, because there's even moments where Courtney and Ricky have really good, and I'm like, oh, okay, it feels like a family. And Carlos and EJ definitely are close, and they definitely are friends, but I feel like they're the only two that are mean to each other.
Yeah.
Not mean. Well, no, mean. Because sometimes they say something that wasn't nice. Mm-mm. But they're the only two that I can think of off the top of my head, at least. But I was just like, but they have way more scenes than I remember them having. Yeah.
They have, the least amount in common, but they're always thrown together.
They are. No,
I don't know.
I'm like, there has to be some sort of, shippers. I've never seen an edit, but...
Yeah. Crazy.
I've seen people ship crazier things. There's no way.
For sure.
Anyways.
I don't know. I put Nene's outfit looks almost normal.
Almost, yeah. Look at her go.
It's just she has a weird base layer shirt under the sweater. But other than that, her hair's in the middle, and she has a pretty normal sweater as compared to everything else, and jeans. So
good for her.
Good job.
Good job, Nene. That's so slow.
Yeah, and then Ricky looks like he's dressed like a lumberjack, which I'm like, where did he get that from? Also, his dad looked like a lumberjack 2 episodes ago. So
sometimes he just looks like a lumberjack, and I don't know what the thought process is behind those outfits.
Are they what is Utah? plaid Patagonia lumberjack.
Put him in the mountains. Oh my god.
I don't get it.
No, it is really weird.
Like, maybe this is like a foreshadowing to season 3.
The one season that's not even filmed in Utah. Love.
I don't know.
This is my favorite thing about this show. The
Yeah.
joke where Big Red is sitting next to Miss Jen.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Every episode we go, this show's so funny. And you know what? We're going to say it again. This show is so funny.
Yeah. No, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, no, that's actually really funny.
This is really good.
I don't know why, but it just is. Yeah. I have no idea what the chronological order of this episode was. It doesn't make any
I have
sense.
no clue. I also am obsessed with Ricky and Nene. Also, they say they met in kindergarten, so Courtney's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they've known each other forever.
Forever, and they gave each other their names. And that scene is so cute. I'm obsessed with them.
Who calls a kindergartner Richard?
Yeah, that's so real. Every time I find that, I think of the Lego Batman quote where he's like, it's like, my name's Richard, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick. And I was like, the kids can be cruel sometimes. I think about that constant. That was almost Ricky's future. It was almost Dick.
Luckily, Nene saved him.
Yeah, Nene saved him.
Yeah.
It was almost really bad.
Yeah.
I also did a science project involving bread. I wasn't in 4th grade, I was in 5th grade. And mine wasn't moldy bread because I don't know what she was studying there.
I've seen people do that, though.
I was going to say, I don't know what she's studying there, but mine was to stop the hardening of brown sugar.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like not that much different than moldy bread.
Wow.
That project sucked. And our teacher thought it sucked too. I know that in my soul. But I went to the next level.
That was 5th grade?
That was 5th grade.
What was mine like? Mine was the popcorn one that year.
That one was good.
Yeah, I popped all different kinds of popcorn. Not different kinds, just different brands. And then said which one was the best.
I still think about that when I used... What was your result, Haley? Share with the class, because I use it when I pop popcorn.
I don't... Is it Pop Secret? Was that the one that won?
I think so. I just know you were like, if you don't hear a pop
Oh, yeah.
every, like... I feel like you said 20 seconds, but that cannot be right.
20
or
or
maybe
30? Yeah, no, that's a long time.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, but I will quickly count to 20 if I don't hear a pop. But then I'm like, but then I've heard people say like 2 seconds. 20 seconds cannot be correct, but I feel like that was the result you got.
Yeah. I don't know.
I still use that when I pop popcorn.
Also, this is such a tangent, but like, if you're gonna make 2 batches of popcorn right after each other, the next one won't pop as much as the first one did. Don't know why that happened, but it happened. Something about it's probably already warm, but like, I don't know.
But you think it would pop more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Or faster,
I don't
guess.
get it, but that's what happened.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for 5th grade science
Science
fair.
fair. I don't even know what I learned from mine. But if it was bread, that doesn't work because I'm gluten intolerant, so can't even use that.
Yeah. Darn.
We both made it to the next level, though.
Yeah, we did.
So basically, we're so smart.
Yep. I hated
It
district
sucked.
science. Worst experience of my life ever.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyways, I just related to Nene there. I also did one involving bread. So slay.
Yeah. This episode gave me PTSD from being in musicals and having to do mic checks, which are literally the most embarrassing thing you can ever do. Because you just have to sit there and sing, and usually I was told to sing the ABCs, which, like, I guess makes sense, but...
Not a strange rendition of Bop to the Top.
Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, she did great.
She did sound really good, but I was like, this is an interesting song to choose and an interesting style to sing it in.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we had to sing it because we got the instrumental dance break version, but
That's
this
true.
is the only time we hear it sung, so...
That's crazy.
I don't know,
Dang.
but
R.I.P.
Yeah.
to Haley and all the other soldiers.
R.I.P.
The soldiers of musical kids that'll watch this episode.
Yeah. tech rehearsals are not the funnest. But this wasn't really a tech rehearsal, so
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm skeptical that would really break the sound system.
Yeah.
And the way that they did it. Like, she was singing into a handheld microphone. And she even held it away
she
from
held it
herself.
away. There was definitely technical, like, training to not do that. Maybe that's just supposed to show how bad the
Yeah.
thing was.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they just got some feedback, but, like, I don't know.
That's so true.
I just don't believe it.
This is me jumping back a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But, okay, wait, real quick, one comment. They do say soy cheese on the pizza for Big Red. Does say the pizza's going to have soy cheese because he's lactose intolerant. I don't know if he is in the second season. And then also, this actually might not be jumping back. I can't remember where this is. But when he talks about going to, first off, he's so excited about the school for her, which is so cute.
Yeah.
And then second, when he's like, she's like, Minnie Mouse is your first crush, and he's like, no, my second.
I love Ricky Bowen.
I love Ricky. That's so cute. Oh my gosh, I also would have kissed him.
Yeah, me too. I probably would have kissed him.
I probably would have kissed him.
That's okay.
You mean the part where he says, oh, and I couldn't even tell you I love No, and he's like, my second.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so cute. So cute. They need to also, this is I'm jumping around all over in this episode.
That's okay.
I've barely been following my notes. They really need to stop eating that popcorn.
Yeah.
That's
That's disgusting. They're like, this is an abandoned theater that hasn't been used since a fashion show how many years ago? I don't know.
And you're
There's
eating the
cobwebs.
There's literally cobwebs like 3 feet from where you're eating the popcorn.
Disgusting.
I've ate some popcorn in some
At least,
sketchy
like,
places.
there's some Sour Patch Kids in a bag.
Literally.
At least open that.
Do that. I was like,
It's better than stale, gross popcorn.
there's no way that popcorn's good at all.
That's gross.
I've ate popcorn at weird places in the theater. Haley's been there.
Forgot about that.
Haley,
Did you get sick?
No, I felt fine.
Okay.
Everyone in my life was really concerned about it, but I wasn't.
Like, it probably wasn't old.
No, it's definitely fresh.
Yeah.
Moral of the story, fun fact. I one time Haley and I went to movies one time. There was other people there too, but there was like I was gonna go buy some popcorn, but then we got in our seats and there was like a massive full thing of popcorn underneath us, and I was like, okay, well, I feel like God's put this in my hands right now.
Of course.
So I went, but it was like gross to eat it just like that, so I went and like dumped like the top layer off. It's gross to just eat it like that.
Yeah.
Dumped the top layer off, and then I'm not even kidding.
No,
me
I feel like
other friends ate it.
that's valid.
You didn't have any though.
Mm-mm.
That's probably the smarter move.
I would eat the gummy bears that are in here.
That's true. There's so much left gummy bears in here. We didn't.
If there's
It's
food,
been 3 weeks since we filmed.
Yeah. So someone
2.
forgot them. I think we put that exactly there. So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's touched it.
No, I don't think so.
I'll still.
Okay, let's go take some gummy bears. It's gonna be great.
Anyways.
Anyway, stop eating popcorn.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Ashlyn's a crystal girl.
Yeah, I would have guessed that.
I would have also. Also, she's so like. I think she's like astrology too.
Mm-hmm.
Does she ask Big Red what his zodiac sign is?
I don't know.
I feel like I made a comment about her being an astrology girl, but I don't know. Because we find that out in season 3.
Yeah.
She has like a whole song. Sometimes I feel like they have. I do like that they do keep some of these character traits like that consistent while they're so little at this point.
Yeah. She is like pretty consistent.
She's like mystic girl.
Yeah.
And she talks about being in the baking club again in this episode.
Yeah.
Also, that is a concern.
Yeah.
Not everything's about this musical because you burned down a gym. An auditorium.
Come on. Yeah.
Also, okay, my next comments are about the song. That's all I have.
Okay.
I don't think. Do you have anything for that?
Oh, I put the interaction between Seb and Courtney when he's like, "Are you still gonna do makeup?" I have no idea what that thing was about. Like, I have no idea.
I also know I did have a note about that too because I said Courtney's sub scene was so weird.
I have no idea what that's supposed to be about. Because she's like, you can do more than one. I feel like it's supposed to have some underlying theme. But she's like, I don't like labels. I'm like, are we trying to, like, is this about Seb?
I don't know what it's about either. I was like, there's definitely a metaphor here that's not translating.
I have no idea. Because he's like, your makeup made me feel the way that look the way that I feel.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I get that, but then she's also like, I feel like it's so awkward of a conversation too.
Yeah.
She's like, I can do anything I want, and so can you, Seb. And he's like,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't like a bonding moment. It was like, they were both like being passive aggressive.
They were both trying to like inspire the other. I feel like. No, I feel like sometimes.
I have no idea what that scene was
No,
about.
sometimes Courtney's character gets that way a little bit though.
Yeah. Like, girl.
And I don't necessarily think that's like a her actor thing necessarily.
No.
I do think it's a writer thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes she gets really like, if we work hard enough and dream hard enough, anything is possible.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Cool.
That was weird.
Yeah. I have no idea. I was just like trying to really figure out what that was supposed to mean. I have no idea.
No clue. It was an interesting scene.
But yeah, I don't know. That was all I had
Gee.
until
So,
the song.
the Lucas Gabriel dream sequence, I'm glad it's there. However, again, does not work in a mockumentary.
No.
You can't have a dream sequence in a mockumentary.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which I was also thinking about this because of like the flashback scene she has when she's like in the theater. I'm like, why didn't they get like a younger actress? But like if it's a mockumentary, then that makes more sense.
Oh
But
my
it's,
gosh,
like,
I forgot
her.
there's a flashback. I didn't even think about the flashback in the sense of mockumentary.
But like with the I don't get it. I think they forgot.
They forget often.
And they're like, that's fine. We need a cameo.
Yeah, so like we'll get him in. And I thought it was funny how they even did the cameo where they're like, like they did make jokes at it and stuff.
Yeah.
That
the
song was
whole
really
song is just a reference to everything.
It was very much a breaking the fourth wall. Because there's the Glinda
Yep.
where she's like, I'm more of a Glinda, and she played Glinda.
Yep.
All the IMDb pages I read were like, did you know that? Because I was trying to figure out where they filmed this theater. And like, did you know she was? And I was like, yes, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, I've heard and seen her, and so that was enough to tell me that she probably has played Glinda.
Yeah. Right.
But it was a cool reference.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, we met her in person, but that's like literally not true. We've just seen her, and we've just seen her.
We've seen her, and we were courteous enough not to meet
Yeah,
her
we
in
didn't-
person.
I was like, I'm not about to like bombard her because
No.
we went. So she was at both Joshua Bassett concerts we went to, but the second one she had like no security,
Yeah.
and I don't think that was like a her thing. Like it was a venue thing, I think. And so like a bunch of kids just like stormed her and like would not leave her alone.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, just let her live.
The people next to us were talking about how she was like asking people not to take pictures anymore.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we're just gonna go.
We're just gonna go because she's not gonna say no. And I'm like, that's so rude.
We don't do that.
Like, don't go bother her. And I was talking to my sister, and she was like, oh, I don't really like her anymore. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
She's like, because she was being mean to people about taking photos. Like, first off, no, she wasn't. Second off, she was bombarded. I don't care if she was mean.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been acting like that, and the venue should have stepped in and done something.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like the other venue she had like kind of her own space, and I think she came in after everybody was already like in there.
Yeah, she was definitely in like the VIP section because it's like, and it's
Which
like
makes sense because
darker
it
in
was a
there.
standing concert, so like
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, and maybe it is also the stand like as we were inside, so it was dark, so you couldn't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even know she was there when we went to see him the first time until. No, we did because people
We,
were
like-
pointing to her,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh okay.
I don't think we like knew, but
Yeah, we're like, someone's over there.
We knew someone was there.
Yeah. Anyways, I just think that that's
Yeah.
one random thought. I don't even know what got us there.
I don't remember. We have a lot to talk about that's not in this episode.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, that's actually
okay.
all my comments I have on the episode.
Me too. I did not have a lot for the song.
No.
I didn't care for it.
I didn't, yeah, I was like, this is fine. It's not like I would remove it, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless you really wanted to do that mockumentary thing, because it does break the mockumentary rule. But
yeah,
it's just not, it's not my least favorite song, especially not my least favorite song she sings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah. Do you have any other comments?
Nope.
So T.
That's all.
So slay. He didn't put Beauty and the Beast on his, EJ didn't put Beauty and the Beast on his list. Was he in that? He's never spoken about being in it.
Hear him talk about it?
We don't hear anyone talk about it except for Nene, who is a 4.
Yeah. But it was at their school.
Yeah. And it was the year before because they have all the costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
That just clicked because I was just reading through my thing and I have written that she was a 4 in.
I don't know.
Yeah, in 9th, when she was in 9th grade, so they all would have been there. I mean, Carlos wouldn't have. And Ashlyn. No, Ashlyn's junior too. Well, actually, we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But she is. But EJ would have been there. Maybe they were also just ensemble.
Maybe. Maybe he just wasn't a lead.
Yeah. She's just the only one they make reference to. But Ashlyn would have... Anyways, that was just a random thought that I just had. Okay, you ready to cast our show?
Yes.
So, slay. Today's episode, we're going to be casting Wicked. Because... Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
Because of the Glinda reference.
Yes.
So, we didn't make a list of this. But our roles in Wicked are Glinda, or Galinda, Elphaba, Fiyero, Bach,
Nessa Rose.
Nessa Rose, yes.
Dr. Dillamond.
Yep, that's the goat, isn't it? Yeah.
Madame Morble.
Yeah.
The Wizard.
Oh, and the Wizard.
Do we need anyone else?
Probably not.
Maybe the Dad.
Maybe the Dad. If we need space, we can do... If we have a spot, we can do the Dad.
Cool.
Okay, T. So... I've been editing a couple of our episodes, and we literally start all the time by just taking the lead male and going, Ricky, next! I fear so deep in my soul that Ricky is a Bach.
Yeah.
And Ricky should be Bach. And EJ should be Fiyero.
Yes.
Do we think that's... I
it's
think
our
we should cast
show.
it. It's our show.
This is how they should cast
I actually feel like Big Red would be a good Bach.
Mm-hmm. He would.
And then we could make Ricky the Wizard.
Oh.
That's an interesting choice. That's not as big of a role.
No. But I really like EJ as Fiyero.
EJ has to be Fiyero.
EJ's perfect for Fiyero.
EJ is Fiyero.
The more I think about it, it's perfect. So, yes.
And I think that Ricky would be a good Bach if we didn't have Big Red.
Yeah, Ricky can be the lion.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
He should be...
Because I forgot the lion shows up in this second.
Yeah, I guess we don't
Could
need
he be the
someone as
lion?
But...
Oh, he can't be the lion and the wizard.
Probably not.
They have scenes together. I feel like the wizard would be... Because that's the next big male role.
Yeah.
He could be the wizard and the professor. Does the professor have a scene? The goat? Do they have scenes together with the Wicked?
I don't think so.
Wizard? I don't think so. He can do both those.
Yeah.
Unless we need someone else and then they can be the goat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of missing the point of the play. Like I called him the goat, but I don't. The goat.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Animal rights.
The goat. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Now we need the female characters.
Yes, we've talked about this one. And we cast this one, I remember feeling good about it. I kind of think we did Gina and Nene as Elphaba and Glinda. But I can't remember which one we did. And I kind of think Gina was Glinda.
I think so.
Shout out
Did
to
we say, yeah. Because I think Nini would be more Elphaba than Glinda.
Yeah, I could see Courtney playing Elphaba though.
Me too. That's why I'm like, she got her moment to shine this episode a little bit. And Gina's not there.
I think when we casted this in our head, we didn't cast Nini.
I think we probably didn't.
Well.
What if we... Nini could be Glinda.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who Nini could be instead. Because they wouldn't...
This is hard. Because I'm trying to think of, like...
I don't know who would be Nessa Rose. We definitely did cast a Nessa Rose. And the headmistress.
Yeah. Mistress. I almost feel like... Would it be bad if we gave Nini a lesser role? But we also gave Ricky a lesser role, so maybe this is just...
Maybe it's not all about them.
Yeah.
They also... I was going to say they had a lesser role in this episode, but I don't know if it was lesser or just away from everyone else.
Yeah, maybe. Because I almost feel like Gina is the best fit to play Glinda.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we do Courtney as Elphaba and have Nini be Nessa Rose or Madame Warble.
Yeah. Does Madame Warble have a song?
She sings in The Wizard and I don't know if she sings after that.
Well, okay, I guess the question then is who do we put Ashlyn as? I think Olivia Rodrigo, I think Nini, Nessa Rose.
Yes.
Ashlyn, headmistress.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Madame Marble.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get my pronunciation just torn apart.
Yes. Okay, yeah. And then we have...
This is so
like all our roles, but...
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I literally got a call from my parents after our Mary Poppins episode.
Yeah.
Being like, you need to watch Mary Poppins more, because apparently at one time I said that, like, Dick Van Dyke's character was, I kind of implied Dick Van Dyke played Mr. Banks, but I never thought that, so I probably just misspoke.
Huh.
And my mom was like, you need to rewatch Mary Poppins, this is unacceptable. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
Anyways.
Dang, we're gonna get flamed on the internet.
Yeah, sorry guys,
It's
I don't know
okay.
Wicked.
This is just us. Yeah, I know Wicked, and I've listened to the songs, but I've only seen the movie, so I only know the first half of it.
I only know.
So,
What do we even give Seb?
there's the lion and the dad.
And we have Carlos and Seb left.
Yeah. I feel like Seb's the lion.
I feel like Seb's the lion. And Carlos could be the dad.
Yes.
And look at that. There's our
I think
cast.
That's perfect.
So we have Carlos is the dad. I love that we know these characters' names. The dad. Seb as the lion.
Yeah.
Ricky playing two roles.
Yeah.
As the goat and the wizard.
Yes.
And then Ashlyn as Miss Barbell or whatever her name is. And then Olivia oh my gosh, Nini as Nessa Rose.
Uh-huh.
Gina as Glinda. And Courtney as Elphaba.
And EJ
And
is
EJ as Hero and Big Red as Spock. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Shout out to me for just forgetting all the male characters in this movie. Play. This is a play.
Music.
Every time we do a musical, I'm like, I am one step closer to getting torn apart by the musical community.
Yeah.
Theater kids, they're gonna come for me.
I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
Happen. This one's a big one too.
Yeah.
We've done a couple. We did Newsies.
We
And we
did
didn't know anybody's name. That's okay.
I've seen the screenplay. I've seen Newsies.
Yeah. I've seen Newsies.
So I feel like I'm actually qualified in that category, and it was the actual play, it wasn't the movie.
Yeah.
Anyways. Slay.
Yeah.
So I think that's all.
That's
I hope this
good.
episode isn't too long. They've been getting longer.
I feel like this one was long.
I feel like it was too.
But that's okay.
It's okay.
I think we also said that we didn't have a lot for this episode, but that's okay.
Low-key we didn't. We just talked about other things.
We gotta get our talking up before.
Yeah.
But stuff comes up. This is important.
What else were we gonna do if you didn't know about what we did for 5th grade science?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's okay. You watch this for us.
Yes. Us. You care about our lives, probably.
Okay. No.
We really hope. Okay, well, we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this, make sure to continue listening to us on either Spotify or YouTube, or actually, let's switch it up. Yeah, double feature that bad boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, because we post really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
This is in the future, but I think it's cool. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.